looking at the exchange, when you want to do your exchanges and you want to do shares and you want to do all that kind of trading, what this has created a platform and a world for people that are noobs at this to now get into it without buying a 5,000 Rand share or 2,000 Rand share. They can now go buy an altcoin of some kind of cent, and then play with it. Literally play with it.
But do you think this is also, it's that thing of technology also being hand in hand
at the right time? You can sell your
It's still a complete shit. It's still a complete schlep. What's up?
But,
oh, you want that on?
Check the cable just in and out there for us.
And it's
it's definitely. So, like you say that he's sitting there doing that, I also do that. I get up at 5 in the morning and I look at everything and I check the live levels and I set my buys and I set my stops and you can watch it. You're like, okay, cool, this one might go up, this one might not go up. Cool. And you sit and you read ICOs and fucking white papers all day.
But just like it's made oaks, it's going to break oaks, eh?
True, and also you can't let it get you, like, these Wall Street oaks where they're like glued to the screen.
Well, you know what it is? It's just another addiction. It's a gambling addiction, basically.
Yes, or you make it your job.
It's Facebook
and you
with
wake
money.
Or you make it your job, and you wake up at 9 o'clock or you wake up in the morning, and by 9 a.m. you sit there until 5, you sit and trade.
Yeah.
Well, each unto his own. We up and running.
Jingle tune.
I'm not sure. Doesn't look like we are.
Golden tune.
Stand by. We're in.
Cool, man.
Bongs.
Folks, welcome to another HotBox podcast. We're going to be speaking lang dank. Tonight's theme is going to be pretty much along the lines of bongs, bubblers, what's different, what you should look out for, what we personally prefer. Joined tonight by Dan the Grow Man and ever loyal Jules. Guys, welcome.
Thank you very much. Ever loyal.
Ever loyal, eh? It's going to stick, eh?
Yeah, look, we're having a bit of a trouble getting a guest in tonight because everyone's gone on leave. So thank you very much for taking up the whole of the couch.
I'll take the whole couch.
Man alive, what are we?
Jeez, there's been some chaos online, eh?
Yes, that's what are we? Should we even fucking waste time?
No.
Let's get straight into it, guys. Before we do
what's
that,
the Skinner? What's the
Skinner? I think we should be lighting up in things, isn't it? Like
we've got a complete selection of dab rigs and Christ knows what going on here at the moment. Let me just put a post up to tell everyone we're live because I'm so diligent. And welcome back to our engineer, what has been on leave, so I don't have to engineer it or anything and try and work out TeamViewer that never actually worked properly in the end. And thank you to all of the comments and thank you for all you guys for tuning in all the time and watching during the week. It makes it all worthwhile.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it really does. And one guy, the only comment we got this week was, the audio's not very good. Sorry.
Humble beginning. This is like our pilot season, guys.
We're in the teens. We're in the teens. 14, you're in the teens. Teething stages and stuff.
It's like that beginning of Top Gear. It was kind of cuck. But it got a lot better real quick.
Yeah.
But really, we do this for yous. Honestly, I don't think we would give up our evenings to share these moments without yous. So welcome aboard. But I think the biggest story of the week so far, or like the most breaking news story, is this. What's this chick's name? Alyssa Brooks.
Yeah, the Zolbobby. She's
Alicia.
The Sativa Diva. Isn't that what she's called?
I'm not sure.
I know it's the Zolbobby.
Is it Zolbobby?
Yeah.
I thought, okay, Zolbobby's on Instagram, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, she's on Instagram and she works with local guys as well, like Bongalong and that. And
she's a really hot mother.
Playboy. She's a Playboy model from what I know. She's a Playboy model and a mom. But she's a cannabis activist.
Mom.
She's a cannabis activist and she's really good lady from what I've seen, what we've seen online. Yeah.
And we're talking like for you who are old enough. This is FHM, good looking woman.
Yeah.
And
go like her, Zolbobby on Instagram.
Zolbobby, go like her, and she owns it, and she makes her money with it, and all these things. But what really happened is, Dan, you were telling me about this.
Oh yeah, I woke up and saw
and
this.
Let's see what's the story with it.
I saw this comment that she posted this morning of this guy that was apparently being really rude. You know how social media now gives everybody this bravado. They think they can just be whoever they want and treat people how they want and not think twice of what they say. And she called him out, which I think is really good.
What was the story?
Well, basically, this guy.
Read what she said. She put this on her Facebook page.
It's live. It's public anyway, so I'm not like I'm calling out anybody else. Anybody know this guy, Kieran Backer? Kieran Backer.
Kieran Backer.
We have mutual friends in the cannabis scene, so I must have accepted his friend request at some point. Now he's sending me voice notes on Facebook Messenger about how badly he wants to. Okay.
Say it, dude.
Suck my titties and make me come.
Well, you know.
Somebody schooled this guy before she loses her ladylike composure. We would not like that. you are the Zol Barbie. Keep it like that. But I mean, that's just actually disgusting. You know, I mean,
it's difficult.
It's like if you're a kiddie fiddler and you get called a pedo, that's going to stick with you for the rest of life. This guy's just basically,
you know,
in my eyes.
Do you think it's part of the territory for being like sort of Instagram soft porn kind of stuff? Is it part of the territory that you would get some dorks like that just taken a bit too far? Because you know, she has got an epic body, and I'm sure they are imminently suckable. Yeah, but you don't say it.
But I think she's even said it. She said, like, you know, at the end of the day, she does accept it. People do. It's part of the course of what she does. But then I'm sure some guys just take it to that, just over the edge. Like some guys will still say a message like, "Hey, look, you look so wonderful.
Yeah.
I wish you could be my girlfriend," type thing. And then guys go and do some shit like that. I mean, really, bro. Like,
either way, you should go over to Zol Barbie and have a quick look and give her a like and follow her, because she really does loads for the community in Cape Town.
Yes.
She's full on and she's great, and I've met her and she's a really, really marvellous person.
There we go, yeah.
I think there's like two take-home points from this. That this
Green
guy needs to like redo his sex ed, because if you're sucking on a girl's titties to make her come, you're sucking in the wrong place.
That is another. You know what?
Unless you're really good.
Unless you're sucking your mama's titties.
He's got a point.
Yeah.
He's got a point.
And Jules, you were touching it on there. I think something I do see in the weed industry, and I see this from like High Times days, and maybe this is something we may struggle with. Maybe it's a very young male saturated thing, consuming cannabis, but there does seem to be a degree of sexploitation. And sexploitation is, you know, when you have that hot girl dishing out the dab at the expo.
Definitely.
It'll always be a hot chick. And we see this with alcohol and things. But
same with cars, booze, everything else.
But with that sort of industry, and I'm not saying because there is guys who will argue that women dress to get raped and that, but when you are in that...
No, she was putting out.
Yeah, exactly. No, Oaks.
No.
But when you're in that sort of industry, it's probably going to happen. So should we be surprised? Or is this going to be one of many?
I think we should be surprised that it's all over Facebook. I mean, it might have been a DM on Instagram or something, but if it's all gone, it's headed off to Facebook and social media and everything else, and I think she's handled it really well. And at the end of the day, she must be having a bit of a smile to herself as well, because she's doing her job right. If that is the reaction that she's getting, then maybe that's cool as well, because that's what other reaction does she need? What reaction is she after? What is her ultimate goal of having a Zol Barbie account that Oaks can go there and see her in a sort of ski pants and the rest of it doing her thing?
Well, I imagine there are places now where you could go live stream a chick with
We're talking so much the nails gone off.
a nice cleavage shot of chicks ripping bombs.
Yeah.
And there are probably chicks out there, if you pay them $1 or $2 or whatever, tops are optional on a private chat, things like that. So
like
maybe there is that line already being blurred.
I don't understand. I think in the end we haven't found out what the long-term repercussions of all these chicks doing this as a sort of soft porn thing on Instagram is. At least she's not young. She's probably 20, 30 maybe.
And honestly, I wouldn't even put it in like the soft porn category, because it's not to me. It's like it's a chick looking good. It's not like barely covering a nip and.
But that would have been porn in 1985 in South Africa. You know?
Jeez.
What is on Instagram now is 1980s porn that was in a fucking Hustler magazine. Stars on a dip. Put a Zol leaf on.
Stag mag. Remember that shit?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, guys.
But like you say,
we've probably got a few of those.
The culture of things. It's how, like you say, how sex sells. And it's not that she's selling anything. She's literally showing the sexy side of cannabis.
She's showing the side that you can be a completely functional, beautiful member of society and blaze. That's basically what she's doing.
And be functional, and be a mother.
And be a mother, and have a hot body, and work out, and be on it, and be positive. So Zol Barbie, rocky.
Nice.
That's it.
So, to our theme of the evening, guys, let's start a little bit of Bong 101. Bong 101.
Bong 101.
Don't leave it too long before you hit it, first of all.
Let's start with the bong. Let's check that cheech piece of yours there, Jules. So,
this one.
You know, as bongs go, you traditionally get two options when it comes to a bong. You get a pull-out bong and a clutch bong. And a clutch bong will be one where it's got the hole, where you control the airflow. And a pull-out will be you pull the head out. So traditionally, clutch bongs are like your bong-alongs and that. And what Jules has got here is a pull-out number. Pull-out's pretty old school, but it's becoming the preferred option again, I think. Okay?
I don't have a preference over any of them. I either use a clutch or I don't. But most Dabbrigs don't have a clutch because I don't need one.
Dabbrigs don't have clutches, but the new bongs do have pull-outs. Yeah, it's mainly pull-out, yeah.
It's mainly pull-out.
What's your preference? Because I know you can smash a fucking bong.
Can you?
Yeah, I can smack bongs.
Shit, I didn't bring the fucking flour rig.
Flour rigs for days.
I didn't bring the flour.
You know, the pull-out is really good for... But no, don't smoke flour through that.
This is a flour rigger.
But if you smoke flour through that?
I don't smoke flour. There you go. I don't smoke flowers in a bong.
I couldn't do it, eh?
Flattens me.
No, I couldn't smoke flour through that.
So what do you think? Keep dab things separate and bong things separate?
That is the number one rule through... It's like
710
like
and
never mix
420
milk
don't.
and meat in the same container type thing, you know?
Electricity and water.
That's it. Dab rig, weed rig.
Well, my dab rigs stay this clean because you don't really get them all that dirty doing dabs. It's only doing bongs, they get stiff. So I just gave this a massive clean before the show, and I haven't filled it up with any water yet, so I need to do that. So stand by.
But yes, I like the pull-outs. If you're having a big hit, you can when you take a pull-out, it takes everything goes one shot. It's not like a little thumb. Then it clears the bong.
Because I also find like a clutch bong always leaves a little bit left over.
Yeah, got a bit of milk left in the bong, which is never allowed, apparently.
You got milk in your glass.
Big news still, and I think it's been big news because I've also seen footage of people escaping this. The Cali fires, eh? A lot of growers, not just across weed, but fuck, weed must be feeling it in California. I anticipate going to be shortages.
I know they're already
big
they're
weed
already
drought in
talking
California
about it.
at the moment,
or
anticipated. And have you guys checked any footage of these Cali fires?
I've only seen and heard the conspiracy stuff and you see these photos of
houses and not trees.
Trees literally lining suburbs that are green and that are nice and lush, and then the houses that are in between those trees are vaporized, as if a death ray came over there like aliens and they just
jet fuel
and just destroyed it all. So yeah, it's quite hectic. It's quite hectic that can happen. I just don't understand it. I mean, the Neisner fires were started by underground fires, or they were underground fires. Apparently, they were there for ages, and then they took up. But that took everything with it. It wasn't, hey, well, this house can stay and this tree can stay. No. It was.
Yeah, it was indiscriminate.
Yes, it's indiscriminate. There you go. That's the word. Yeah.
So we've got as far as dab rigs go, we got 3 different flavors of dab rig here. One of them, the one that I just hit now, has got a quartz nail on it. A little bit of quartz and a dome to just keep all the good stuff on the inside.
It's like driving a car with a clutch. And you've got a dome rig like this.
This is a banger.
Yeah.
Quartz bangers.
Those
it's delicious for taste.
Another taste altogether.
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying getting back to this little quartz nail. Actually, been really cool. And then these big motherfucker, these massive titaniums, which are totally indestructible.
Good for beginners.
I think they're good for everyone.
They're good for everyone because they're going to last longer than the glass. And the reason I've got this drop down on, and this is called a drop down. So I do that because actually I've got bifocals on. And if I put a nail right there, I'm sort of looking all fierce. Actually, the only reason I bought the drop down is so I can see the nail. It does cool it down a lot more. You can put a drop. You can interchange all of this.
It'll cool down the smoke.
Drop down
travel. Yeah.
On everything. So I've got an adapter, a male adapter that would go on there, so that could drop down on that like that. I haven't seen that like that for a long time.
It's like Lego for adults.
Yeah. And there's a female and a male banger.
Well, if I can quickly, you mentioned male and female. So this has become something I struggle with. How to tell. Because before
male and female, okay.
Yeah, no, okay.
Which part of this struggle is it?
How did you want to watch?
Too much sucking on titties, man.
Wasabi nuts. These things are strong.
So it just used to be bongs, but then dad came along. So they became this whole male-female joint thing. So I don't know when to tell when something's technically a bong or a bubbler. Because you can get whatever design, and it feels like the moment it's got a male join on, it's a bubbler, and the moment it's got a female on, it's a bong. But is it that simple? Is it size? What makes a bubbler, and a bong? Because
what do you consider a bubbler again?
Well, I was thinking, is it a bubbler because it's got a male join?
No, a bubbler's like, I think a bubbler's like a
size
weed
definition.
pipe.
A size thing.
It's not actually it's not like a bong. A bubbler to me is a pipe with a, like a Sherlock with a chamber underneath it.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bubbler?
That's what I would think. But
Have we got a bubbler? We got a. No,
technically, all three of these are bubblers.
They're all bubblers because they do bubbles, but
dab rigs.
But they would be oil rigs, dab rigs. Yeah, you don't call a dab bong a bong.
Yeah,
it's a
bong.
rig.
It's a rig.
Yeah, bongs to me actually are those shitty acrylic things down the fucking flea market. That's what a bong is.
Yeah, those colourful bongs.
A water pipe is like borosilicate and a few grand.
And then that cheech piece, would you consider that a bong?
No.
Traditionally does herb.
It was bought with a herb thing.
You know what? It's I mean, what's it called? Semantics. You're just calling it different things. I mean,
potato.
Exactly. Bong, bubbler, rig. What do you want to call it? This is my flippin' dab bong. It's like an Indian person calling it something and a Chinese person. I think a rig came from America. The rig.
Well, it's an oil rig. Yeah.
We're gonna have an oil rig because actually an oil rig came from an oil can dab.
Is it an oil rig? You'll think your dad went to go work on for money.
I think it is. And then there's the oil rig dab bong. It's an oil rig.
It's a bit of term. It's a bit of slang.
It looks like a small oil can. It's like a small oil can that's got the place for you to put your nail, and then the straw, and that's called an oil rig. The oil can oil rig.
Yeah.
So it's a rig. I call them rigs. That's our definition. Bong is for grass.
Yeah.
A rig
is
for concentrate.
It's for concentrate.
Any kind of concentrate that's nice and clean.
Freezing cold water out the fridge.
Oh,
nice. Lovely.
Stand by.
Yeah, Oaks, here I go.
Cold water. Cold water's always the best.
Second-hand dab. While we're on the topic of bongs and that, and maybe this applies to, it applies to spliff and all those kinds of things as well. What are your guys' thoughts on mixing tobacco with weed, eh?
Sacrilege.
Geez, that's an English thing to do.
Sacrilege. You say that.
I was brought up in England and they still do it to this day.
A friend of mine lives in England and he's just come back from holiday. And I swear he has to prep himself when coming back to South Africa because he knows in South Africa it's a pinch of weed, a pinch of mix, and a lot of weed for the guys that do mix. Because in England they flipping one whole cigarette and a tiny little bit of weed.
We got Martin Latham on the live feed here saying he agrees that a bubbler should be a hand pipe that can take water.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. The bubbler is like a Sherlock with a...
It's like saying it's a small... The bong and the rig is the big thing. The bubbler is the big thing. Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Wow.
This batch is strong.
Come on, let's put one of these on a nail. Jesus.
But yes, I don't think you should ever smoke with mix. I did. I'm not saying I didn't. But I did.
You know what it is in England? Everybody grew up with hashish all those years ago. Yeah. And all the old-time smokers, sort of my era and going backwards, we had to have a carrier for hash. So we used tobacco. So I think it's just carried on that way. But I was with people in Amsterdam, who were English people in Amsterdam, and I couldn't believe how little weed they put on the tobacco. It's like you're in fucking Amsterdam and you're covered in motherload and you're just crumbling like
that. Hello?
Fuck, I couldn't smoke any of that shit. It's like they're all totally addicted to the tobacco. That's pretty much it. Oh, but it burns better.
Come bollocks. I had that argument with all my friends like that. Oh, why don't you ever put mix in your joints? It keeps going out. Well, fuck, have a lighter. What the fuck is the problem? That's why we have a lighter.
Dipping paraffin.
Is there any truth in the story that if your joints are going out all the time, it's weed that wasn't flushed?
No.
I heard that story that if your joint keeps going out and it's not burning, it's probably because there's still a chemical in the...
Maybe a salt, because a salt of any kind is a kind of fire retardant, so it could be. But I mean, also if you had to smoke weed that's not flushed where the guy's dumping nutrients, you will taste it immediately with the smoke. You'll taste it in your mouth.
Burn ash itself.
It'll burn, exactly. It burns black, right? Yeah, it burns like black and it stays on it. It stays quite horrible. So the cleaner your ash, the lighter your ash, the grayer your ash, the better. You know that your cannabis is being purged of excessive nutrients, but there's no such thing as excessive nutrients because a plant won't just hold fucking 20 liters of extra nutrient just because of the fun of it. So this whole thing of flushing also can be a bit of a touchy subject. I mean, if a plant's growing perfectly fine, why would you want to flush the damn plant? Yes, pull off, but what are you going to pull off? The plant is... Yeah. It's not going to just be like, cool, well, we don't need this and this and this, we're going to throw it away. No, it needs it because it needs to grow to the last flippin' minute where it can drop a seed off its own body to try and regrow.
True story.
You know what I mean? It brings a whole lot of debate to all these things that people talk about.
Yeah, but I think also that I ever think at them, I just say, I like it because I like it. I'll be the first to admit. I like tobacco with my weed. And
Personal preference.
And it's
totally.
guys like you like their brandy and their Coke, you know. I don't necessarily like one that much without the other. So for me, the cocktail is too nice.
I know. When I was a smoker 15 years ago, I had a ciggy in one hand and a joint in the other, and I never mixed any tobacco with a ciggy because they're doing two different things. One's putting you up and the other one's bringing you down. So it's a bit of a schmangle.
But maybe it's that abuse, you know, that tug with yourself.
Schizo kush.
Yeah, man. Something I also saw that was interesting. Some poor motherfucker, he got a job, and this was a nice High Times article. I think you spotted it, Jules. Some dude went to go work in Dubai. He's like 24 years old. He's from like Liverpool in the UK and that. And some dude he knows got bust or some shit and rolled on him and said that this guy had said he'd used Sativex. But what it boiled down to is this oak had consumed whether Sativex or a joint or a bong or whatever in the UK. And weeks later,
2 weeks later.
Yeah, he then went to go get this job in Dubai and moved there. And he got put through a drug test there. Because he'd consumed something in the UK, they don't give a fuck. 2 years in jail.
Yeah, without even opening his mouth. From the airport, do not pass go. He was on the bones of his arse in the north of England, couldn't find a job, he was smoking too much weed, hanging around with his mates, not getting anywhere, and his sister lives in Dubai. She said, come and join me, we'll figure it out. So he stopped smoking, got on a plane, got a test in Dubai.
And positively tested.
And fuck the test, he's got THC in him, and they didn't care that he didn't do it here, there, or anyway. They just put him in jail for 2 years. Just like that.
What?
Yeah, imagine that.
So you can't even enter the country.
Imagine.
What? No.
He's in jail in
fucking
Dubai, in the Emirates, for 2 years now, dude.
You know what?
You can't enter the country with that shit there. And they consider there was a.
I don't go anywhere near it anymore. I don't go near it anymore. Dubai, Myrtle and I, if we're going to Europe or we're going anywhere else, we'll pay the extra $1,500 a piece and go straight to Europe. Go on a KLM flight direct.
Would they stop you if you're just passing through?
You know, I don't want to run the risk.
No,
I don't want to run the risk of
no.
anything in Dubai because I've got weed on me. I stink of it. It's been part of me for all of my life. There's probably a fucking pip in my grip somewhere in a bag or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to take any of that choice. So we cuck and batal and get on a KLM and get some even shittier food and arrive in Amsterdam the next morning.
I'm just going to quote from the article quick.
Have you got it?
So this young chap, they're saying I smoked it, yeah, but I did it back home. They've got no proof. I used to smoke a lot back home. I came here to stop everything. I haven't committed a crime in the United Arab Emirates. I was coming over here to totally change my life around. I have a new job and I met loads of nice people. And we've actually seen that with a guy we know is in the sort of trade that when you go to a place like that, you have to get clean and sober. And this oak, quizzer, but much. But he went to a place like that and it made a change.
Unbelievably.
It made a change.
Quite a shit story. But
That's
it's food for thought for absolutely everybody. If you're going to go to Dubai and you smoke, buy a ticket 6 weeks in advance and stop. Stop there and then. But who'd want to go there anyway? I mean, Jesus, it's like the centre of Babylonian waste. There wasn't anything there 30 years ago, and now the biggest buildings in the world are there for what? There's fucking indoor ski slopes using all of our petrol money tax. Bastards.
Yeah.
Boycott the Emirates. Boycott it.
How do you? It's so weird. It's like they make concessions for Russia with like the World Cup or Olympics or whatever, even though they're usually anti-gay, and then they make concession about things happening there. So, you know, money seems to grease all palms and it just, life goes on. Yeah, but it's a harsh reality. Be careful out there, guys.
Completely. Look, the bus don't stop. The Dagga couple's inbox. There's a bus today. There's 2 yesterday. There's 3 massive ones around the country. I don't know whether you've got on your list about the oil dude in. Have you got one now? Okay. There's that one. Nobody's contacted us. The big oil people, the one in Cape Town, nothing. They haven't contacted us at all yet to join the queue. So that's a bit worrying. I don't know what's going on with them. But we know there's busts come to us that don't get to the headlines. And then there's these 3 massive busts with headlines that don't come to us. So I'm not quite sure. Fake news! An oil maker got busted. No, he didn't. It was just, they just decided to put it to stop people from making oil. Who knows? Who knows this? Anybody know this guy? Who's the oil maker in PE that got nailed? Does anybody know him? Because he needs to get hold of us because we know that we can do it. We know that we can get you. Well, Jesus, look at what if he was giving it to his mother. Remember last week?
Yeah, the one that got
Grant last week got not guilty
Bang.
for making oil for his mother. So all that guy's got to do is show her that precedent. And
well, let's see. Maybe he's in overalls for Christmas. But yeah, dude, if you snow, orange overalls, like you must know.
With arrows on.
Yeah. But if you're student of the guy, please reach out, join the queue. We are all still kind of
get on the Dagga.
The rest don't stop, so we don't stop.
Who else? There was another one. There's a Polokwane bus, a 25-year-old African guy with supposedly like $250,000 rounds worth of weed, with a street value of. Yeah. So there's that guy. He hasn't got hold of us, and then there is another Cape Town one that hit the headlines as well. Yes, as they get so jumbled up in my head now. There's so many of them.
It's a blur because the bats in reality do continue. But since
you
it's
see,
the
there's
season,
a black streak in it there. Yeah. Don't worry, it was my. I had a bit of filth on the end of
on the
it.
nail.
No, it was on the spatula.
Okay.
That's all your setting from last time.
Yeah, let's get this thing a little bit hotter.
Yeah.
Okay, past 7:10.
Okay,
Okay, so while we're on this, email guys. So as you've noticed, when it comes to dabbing, it's a question of extreme heat plus dab equals vaporizer. So what an email does is this automates it for you. It stays on whenever you want it on, and they get pretty hot pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it helps you tune into low temp versus high temp dabs. Because this is the thing now. When you're going to hit a dab for maximum effect and maximum-ness, you'll get it nice and hot, you'll dab it, and you'll take it in quick and hot. But there is now the option of doing thinner, milkier dabs at lower temps. And people are saying, and you're more qualified than anyone I know to answer this.
Much more flavour.
They say high temp, not so nice on the
More
flavour.
bang.
It's
More
like
bang.
doing your steak well done.
Yeah.
But when you do it at a low temp, it's a bit rare, flavour profile.
I think you lose a bit more. You waste a bit on a low temp. It's really precious to some people. So put it on a higher temperature. So you're going to vaporize it just like that. You might lose a bit of flavour and it might hit your throat a bit. What are we on here now? We're on 700. I would normally put it on 700 and a bit at home.
And is
but
that
the
a
other
high
thing
temp?
about having it on at home
that's
is
not a high temp. No.
no, Jesus, people taking up to 800,
that's like
900.
just slightly higher than lower. Lower temp goes down to like 650 some.
Yeah.
Because let's check, what's this thing now on Fahrenheit? Eh?
Yeah, so Fahrenheit
It's
now.
on, what's 7? I'm going to check 700
Yes,
Fahrenheit.
679,
Google's going to tune
No, I got an app.
Just ask the thing, Google.
Okay, you've got an email app. I didn't know you got an
No,
email
not email
app.
that, just a Fahrenheit controller. So what are they? 700 Fahrenheit.
I rate that must be like 350.
The other thing
400
about having an
centigrade.
email on in the house I have found is it's like it sucks you in because you walk past it and you know it's just sitting there at a prime temperature. There it all is.
It
It's
doesn't
just,
go higher
I'll
than
just have a quickie.
518.
And you just have a quick dab and then all of a sudden you're 15 dabs down for the day. So that's the downside of an email.
It's like a self-lighting bulb.
If you've ever come to one of the 420 parties downtown Joburg, we've been rocking it with emails the last couple of years.
Oh, yes.
We had 2 email rigs out at the store last year, in 2017, and we did 450 dabs in an hour and a half to obviously 450 people, and there was a queue down the street for as long as it took, an hour and a half, people coming back, and essentially it was their very first dab.
I was going to say,
It was
just
so
that.
cool.
Of the 450, I rate about 420 of them were first timers. And it was so amazing. I'd be like, so what's this thing, hey? And you'd say, it's like super weed. And they would fucking
were
hit
in
it,
there.
eh?
It's really strong. Can I have 2?
Yeah. And going on again with the high temps, like you're saying with burning it, there's been articles. Sorry.
Delayed
Yeah,
cough.
a little bit
That's
delayed.
the other thing about a dab.
If you're hitting it too high, you're also creating carcinogens, which are not good. Because anything that burns at a high temperature is going to become a carcinogen. And you
But also, I sometimes wonder with dabs, with the heat factor, unless you're doing it through a really good or clever rig, it could almost be like air frying your throat.
That is exactly
Because
what
it
it
is hot as fuck. Because I'm looking now, 700 is 370 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, okay, is that what that is?
So that's like 4 times the boiling point of water.
It's very hot.
That'll take your fingerprint off now.
But lowest is the
So
best.
some people have grabbed it by that before. Yeah, some people have bloody...
No, yeah, some people, my yeah.
I
My
just
friends
can't-
have, and in the middle of the night, they have the rigs are on and they go in there and they can't see it and they go in there.
Or you knock it over and you catch it.
You knock it over and you catch it.
And then you put it down slowly, like
Yeah.
a motherfucker.
I mean, there's also another tool, like one of the guys on the chat saying, is it's a nectar collector. Those ones
I've
where
checked
you-
those.
So it's a glass pipe that's all handheld, except everything's handheld, and it's got a titanium tip that you clip on, that you heat up with a blowtorch.
It's like a big straw bong. It's like a
literally,
bong
it's
and
like a straw, but it's got a bong attached to it. So it's like take that and make it small. You just take a glass dish and hit your dabs in it. It's very handy, very
It's a
on
good
the go.
street thing. I first saw it in America.
Yeah.
Some guys in America, they had this big long glass thing. They didn't even have a nail on the end of it. They actually literally dipped it in and just lit the end of it like a straw, basically.
So what that is a low temp dab.
Yeah.
That essentially is running the low temp from the max. We could do that also. You could take your normal rig, put some dab inside that, and take your blowtorch and start heating it up.
Right.
So that you get that low temp with a cap on top
What
of
do you
it.
consider to be a low temp and a high temp dab? What is a low temp dab?
Under 300's low temp.
300 Fahrenheit or Celsius?
And low
Celsius.
Yeah, Celsius. So Fahrenheit, we all in South Africa, so Celsius is that, but Fahrenheit everyone knows probably around.
This is because it's an American nail.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Exactly.
The power pack here is basically to get it from America to anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Kan nie Afrikaans praat.
I mean, there's guys that do on Facebook. What's his name? Someone grow 420.
What's it? Custom Grow.
Custom Grow 420. Go check that account.
Check that shit out.
He does-
this oak does rips till the snot comes.
1,000 degree fucking Fahrenheit bong rips that are red hot, like the hottest dabs you could ever hit. These oaks hit them and they just literally cough and
It's
cough
like extreme
and
sport
cough.
of
He's
dabbing.
gonna have some sort of damage. He must. I mean,
And
I've
he's
checked
got
him clear 5 bongs in a row on
and
one break.
habaneros, eating habaneros, 4 of them, and then a bong rip, and then a flip and this rip and a that rip.
and he's got 11 million followers on Facebook.
He
or
does.
something. On
It's
Insta- on
insane.
YouTube.
If we were doing that now, if we made me like smoke a bong and I vomited on air, I'm sure we'd get more hits than him.
Okay, let's do it.
Especially
Oh, no.
Load it up.
Do you want the trick? Is I've got to do it twice.
dab till you puke.
You had to do the
Okay,
first one. I
and go.
can't. I've tapped out of that game a long time ago.
Yeah.
But also, devil's advocate on those nectar collectors, I sometimes wonder, because, flavor profile on high-end dabs. So you're putting the hot nail into basically the jar
Yes.
of your dab.
So you destroy
So
your yes.
you may be affecting...
Of course you are.
Yeah.
You're gonna destroy your plants.
It's like
the
taking
rest-
your toast and smearing it in the Marmite. to get
That's
it
it.
on.
That's a good explanation right there. I like that. Not
But
that,
if
not,
you've got
not,
dab-
not that we've ever done that.
And then if you've got dabs the same colour as Marmite, you're doing it wrong as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen some dodgy stuff. I've seen people actually putting ISO, like RSO, Rick Simpson
Yes,
oil onto a nail. And
You end up with the hot
so
dab
that,
on
I
your
suppose that's
eyeball.
another thing we might have to explain a little bit. This thing here with a nice sort of golden brown colour is a butane extraction, which is a lot more gentle than the black stuff you see in a syringe all over the internet. Rick Simpson oil, RSO.
No, that's not black.
That's
just,
not even.
that's
That's a
But
secret.
it's the same similar
delicious, this
packaging.
stuff.
as what you
If
would
you
see
see it
on
as jet black and it's in a syringe, then it's been done with an isopropyl, with a heavier hydrocarbon. And if you smoke that stuff, number one, it rips all the terpenes apart and all the flavonoids. It brings all the plant out with it and chlorophyll and everything else.
And it leaves a whole lot of shit behind because either you can't fully purge just on the fly.
No.
It's the worst stuff to ever use to make medicine, isopropyl alcohol.
Well, I
do
don't
it.
know. Like,
You know what? There's
no.
some people actually enjoy using it in a syringe like that. It's a preference that they have for its
Delivery mechanisms.
Delivery methods. and
I
stuff.
understand that, yeah.
So I mean, I know people in around the country that put BHO into syringes, but the thing is, most of them solidify. Most butane extractions.
anything of average or better.
They
doesn't
don't.
go
You
into
won't get them
syringe.
out of a syringe. So at that point, we've talked about putting terpenes in them. All through this season now, we've been talking about putting terpenes in. So this stuff here is made for smoking. But if you have a brain tumour, it is made for that as well. But its primary advantage over the rest is it's still got all its flavour intact for people like us who enjoy ripping a nice e-nail.
Yeah.
True story.
True story.
So,
So when it comes to dabbing, just say no to RSO. That's it.
hey, write that
Can't dab
down.
RSO,
We got a
guys.
poet and we didn't even know it.
So something that I also saw that was quite good. It was a nice little Leafly article. Not the most original, but it was basically coming out of the closet. at Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Oh, I saw that.
Because also it's that sort of time where you're with the family and you're intimate a lot, and there's no time to go smoke a joint in front of the TV with your pants off and that sort of shit. So you got to maybe go around the corner, or maybe you've had enough, or things are now comfortable enough culturally that you have that discussion with your folks.
With terps in it.
Oh, cool, yeah.
No, so what have we got here in terms of dab though? What's that?
What I've got here that has been, this is from this year's harvest in March. It was all frozen up, it's been purged out, we just brought a sample down now, but this is a green crack, which has been one hell of a plant. It's an awesome thing. Eh?
Yeah, that was great. That was good.
Pure green crack. If you've got nothing to do that day, have one of those, because you won't get anything done.
Or if you don't want to do anything,
you won't get anything done.
It'll keep you on your crack.
Amazing medicine. And if you've got serious back pain, whack a couple of dabs of that, or even eat a cookie of it. You see, this oil will go in a cookie. It's bog standard. It's a base product to use anything, do with anything. Yeah.
No, it's a great all-rounder. It looks good.
Green crack
good. It tastes good.
And like an 800-gram yield off it.
Jesus.
Can't say no, but very susceptible to bud rot because it is such a tight indica bud. If you get it rained on, it's not going to dry out all season, and you're going to be very, very sad when you think you've got this epic, but on the inside, it's frecked out brown.
Got a whole lot of nothing.
We all know in this room what that's like.
Yeah. And don't smoke moldy bud.
Disappointment, guys.
What about making, doing an extraction of moldy bud?
Think about it.
Well, I'm asking you what you think about it, because
No,
I know
I would never want to ever smoke anything that's been made from
And also
anything
does
that's moldy. Because it's a big plant. Now you
but does it affect the oil?
Of course,
Because the oil's waterproof.
But you're concentrating what are you pulling it off and you're concentrating it. So
everything.
It's there. It'll be there, and it's been proven from other international.
So what's in it that's not right then?
The spores that you bring off of the plant. So your PM, your bud rot, that brings aspergilli.
What if you
aspergilli?
I don't know.
It's aspergilli. It's a fungal that looks like those water things in churches.
What if you had a bud rot plant and you managed to get as much of the rot off as possible to just save the end of the plant to do something with it? Not put the whole bud rot plant in and mix it up. I mean, selectively try
I
and...
think if you were to chop all the bud rot off and then use the plants that doesn't have any bud rot as you would normally, is fine.
Because I must admit that's what I did. I did that with an amnesia haze. Because it frecked out on the inside, but it was such a beauty on the outside. So I haven't actually tasted that one yet.
But maybe we will evolve, because I've been thinking about this quite a bit, because my better half, bless her dear soul, you see it with things like cheeses and alcohols and all kinds of things where you actually do impregnate certain bacteria. So maybe there would be something that we would want to make weed fraught with if we were to. Or even introduce things at curing stage, because there may be those things that we are yet to explore in cannabis culture. I'm not saying mildew, hooray, but I'm saying...
What? Sorry, so you're saying?
So you're saying, like, you know how there's... you know how there's bad guy bacteria? Like molds and that? Maybe there's good guy molds that we would want on...
It's like let your kids play in the mud, because there's good bacteria and
not to build it up, but maybe there are bacteria that would grow on weed that would complement it in a way. Like there's certain grapes I know that it's about the bacteria and the timing and things like that.
Look, I think personally that but
not rot.
Humankind, people have only just started skimming the surface of cannabis. It's been here for thousands and thousands and thousands of years that it's done its own thing and it's evolved on its own, and now we are as humans are bringing our science technology to this, and we've only just this whole extraction thing has only just happened in the last 10 years, call it 15 years from America's side. But, I mean, for many years before that, it was just hash and weed. And I think that's, yes, maybe in the future, or in a few years' time, when time to come, that we might find things that would complement certain things of the plant growth. Maybe extenuate trichome growth.
Yeah.
Push it to the limit, like we can, because they do it to everything else. I mean, there's scientists and guys that can change the leaf structure of a plant just by adjusting the genome or the DNA structure. I mean, it's going to happen. It is going to happen. People want to now cross the hops with cannabis.
Yeah.
So that they want to grow cannabis hops like buds on a string.
Yeah,
because it is the same family. So
totally.
now we're not going to sit back and be a bunch of stoners. No, we've actually, all stoners are so curious that they're going to actually probably do that.
Yeah, we're going to see oaks growing magic mushrooms out of dank buds.
Something.
It's like people put peyotes onto San Pedros to make them grow quicker, etc. It's only hippies just trying to get off on more shit.
Well, that's it, because the San Pedro's, and it's got that the main vein in the center, and you put any kind of succulent on top of that directly. Xylem, it'll immediately draft it, and if you hold it there, and it grows at a much faster rate. Plants are amazing.
Plants are it is an amazing plant as well. That's why we have those.
And I subscribe to the theory that the plants have made us do it. It's the plant that's controlling us, as far as cannabis goes, for sure. It was a piece of ditchweed on the steppes of Russia and in the back end of Kentucky somewhere, and you couldn't smoke it. But it's evolved itself around us because it knows that we dig it.
I've seen this theory, and it's a guy say that the cannabis plant, and this may well apply to many other plants, are farming us because we have taken them further and wider than they would have ever.
It's the botany of desire.
That's it, and there's like this symbiosis relationship. So we may just be the fucking blockchain in all this, the nothing.
So can I ask you a question? What the hell are these things here? Because I've just had one, and it's like it's not even. It's like a food-like substance.
Those are plastic.
Food's like plastic.
It's completely plastic. I know.
These are those puffs. Those puffs, they like plastic.
Put it in my mouth, and it dissolved into like a ping pong ball or something.
Yeah, I think it's like the candy floss of chips because it would shrink down to nothing. In
they're
the
definitely
right
not the
situation.
HotBox podcast best snack.
No, they're not the best snacks I've had.
It's like a little fart in your mouth.
I mean, there's biltong and stuff, and I think last week we had those other
We
chips.
got biltong and shit.
There is some biltong, but the
engineers
engineering
just
crew
just took it away from us.
That's cool, Stig. Hang on to it, Stig. So back to coming out of the closet for Christmas.
The what?
Coming out of the closet for Christmas.
Oh, coming out of the closet for Christmas.
So this article goes into like the things you would expect. So it's like a time and a place. Pick your battles. Don't do it in the fucking Spur while everyone's losing their mind and have a big meltdown, and then no one ever goes to Spur again ever.
You've ruined Spur for us now.
So a time and a place, yes, that's cool. But I'm getting to a punchline here. And then explain cannabis's personal impact. So, this is why I smoke cannabis.
This is why I smoke.
Not to like make it easier to get the needle in, because I'm afraid of needles with heroin and shit. It's just this is what it does for me. And they say be educated. So again, like we were saying the other week, be woke.
Exactly. Be woke.
Don't come across as some fucking Jehovah's Witness or vegan or Bitcoiner or something, and be like, it will save us all. No, just like be real. Be educated. Say you get there's good, there's bad, but of the options out there, this is why this is for you. That's cool. And then they say comply with laws. Obvious, and then be understanding. So give everyone a moment to process. What was really funny for me was they said expect the unexpected. How the fuck do you expect the unexpected?
Well, you've got to have a plan B, because what might happen in some cases, mother will go, I know, I've known it for 10 years, don't worry.
And then you're like,
oh, what?
What?
Yeah, but...
So can I light a joint? No, you can't. And you're like, ah!
Not in my house, you know.
You find out they've been smoking better weed than you do. So you're right. I felt like
so that's where it's all been going.
Yeah.
I thought,
I thought it was with my sister rubbing it. It was my mother. Oh, jeez.
But I don't know. Is Christmas even the time to come out? Because the one thing they did compare it to, and I feel like we see these comparisons more and more often, is they compared it to gay rights, where they had to come out of the closet as well. And I don't know if we can equate cannabis use to being a decision or not a decision, but socially it feels like it's that next thing to go through that sort of movement. So I don't know, what are your thoughts? Is Christmas even the time to come out of the closet?
You know what, I'm nearly 60, I've no idea. I didn't even have any kids to come out the closet to me about, and the one and the stepson that I did bring up, he was around it all the time, and he realised that it didn't mess people up.
That you weren't fucked up because you were smoking weed.
We didn't become useless parents because of it. So he didn't have to come out about it at like Thanksgiving or something and say, I've been trying to tell you something all along, because we already knew, because we were open about cannabis, because this is for the unlucky few people whose parents are perceived to not like it. Whether they're putting up their own appearances about it or not, that's another matter. But I reckon in the 7 years that we've been doing Dagga couple stuff, and all of those people that have been posting all this information, they must now know that it's not as hectic as they once thought. Possibly. So maybe it's easier to come out now than it used to be, perhaps, because there's more information about.
Like I was saying to you about the day when you asked me about parenting, and
that's
same thing. You know, just it's there. You educate and make it available to not available, but more educate and show them. I mean, it's something that you don't have to come out about. I mean, if you're going to be doing heroin, hey, listen, I've got a problem.
Free the heroin. Free the heroin. It's different. But every single drug should be decriminalised. There isn't a substance on earth you should go to jail for, whether you like heroin or not. You have to understand that. It's cuck stuff to society. But I digress. That's a big problem about doing what we're doing. We've got to try and stick to weed all the time. But we get accused from the internationals of drug apartheid. Why should it only be weed? What's the matter with people who use meth? They can still be parents and bring up kids and shit.
We just got to pick out battles.
Yeah, no, it's one.
This isn't a full frontal assault, because also people see that cannabis, and I've mentioned this before, cannabis we know isn't a gateway drug to other things. It can create situations.
It's not the gateway
which
to
can
this
be
stuff,
gateway
anyway.
situations.
It's not the gateway to
with
this.
as much munchies that we've got, we're not going to
But
do
this
that.
is what people are seeing, and even the opposition, they're saying, but if you legalize weed, you're going to make it now the gateway to legalizing heroin too.
Yeah.
So I
They're
don't
a
know.
long way off. I think the last stats I saw was like 80% of Americans want weed legal, but only 17% can think of meth being legal. You know, it's a long way off society at the moment.
For me though, I don't know. Have you guys been doing any reading up or been hearing any of the murmur about net neutrality?
I did.
Yeah, I watched loads of it, and it's just a complete dichotomy as usual. The pro is saying it's going to be absolutely marvellous, and and against they're going to say it's going to be absolutely horrendous, and they're right. They're absolutely right. There's some key clauses been. Obama, this is an American thing,
What's it about? I don't
but it's
understand
all
it.
going to get to around the world in the end.
For those who don't know, let me try. I'm going to try and button this up as easy as I can. So net neutrality, what they say is the net's been pretty organic at the moment. So you get your service provider, you get your bandwidth. It's an even playing field. What they're saying now is that companies, the hosts, the people who provide you with the bandwidth, should now have the opportunity to restrict that bandwidth or your positioning on when using that infrastructure. So what they're saying is, if we're on a road, everyone must move the fuck up to the left and stick to 60. And for our service providers, we are potentially going to let them run at 500 k's an hour in the fast lane. So that's where the concept. But you pay for it. It's also, but that these industries now are so big, they had interest in other companies as well. So they wouldn't even just be paid for it. It would be obvious that, let's say, Facebook or someone owns something, or Google owns whatever, that would supersede other traffic automatically.
There are now, I saw 4 different tiers to resubscribe to, is it Verizon?
Yes. Get the paramedics. Get the ambulance.
It's the TERPs, Drew, it's the TERPs. It's highly likely it's been put in place so the ISPs can now charge packages. Oh, you want Facebook and Twitter? It's $10 a month. Oh, you want Facebook, Twitter and YouTube? It's $12 a month. And you want LinkedIn and you want all your other profiles and Instagram? It's $20 a month. So basically what they've done is put it into a position that you can control the bandwidth, the speed at which you upload and download, your ratings as far as being advertised.
Yeah. Your funneling.
The funneling, and the other thing is your popularity as far as likes and everything else goes. Normally you would go up the scale, say you're going to like this tonight, yeah? Press the like button. So with no net neutrality, if you didn't get the likes, you wouldn't go up the thing unless you paid. And it's all about the ISPs getting money. And the other thing about it is they're going to be watching all the content. So at that point, in a fascist America under Donald Trump, they will be able to, at a whim, close you down for saying anything. My friend this week, she switched on Twitter, and it says, press here for your 24-hour countdown. So she did, and all it did was start 23:59, 23:58, and he got no Twitter for 24 hours because she called Donald Trump a cunt on his feed the day before.
Jeez.
She put the word cunt onto Donald Trump's Twitter reply thing, and she was shut down for 24 hours. So that is a form of non-net neutrality. They're watching, and they're going to start creating situations where it's called dissent, and calling the president that is dissent.
You are in trouble. Yeah.
So they're watching all those gazillions of tweets, and they've got a bot there going, oh, 4-letter word beginning with C, president.
Yeah.
Hectic. I didn't actually know Twitter did that. That's completely new to me. I thought Twitter was such
a very powerful government program.
Jesus.
Well, I think it's not necessarily government, money, white monopoly capital. Things get manipulated because
it's about
the internet has been very organic, but I do fear it because we are potentially looking at leashes being put on the internet.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Basically, it's going to be directed. So,
well, look at what do you call that place? Big in China. They haven't got the internet. They don't have any Facebook. They don't have any Twitter. So they've got no net neutrality whatsoever. That's them. Their firewall is absolutely horrendous.
I've had friends in China where I've been talking to them on Facebook, having conversations, and then one day, not a friend, but a supplier, buying some stock from them. One day, open up the chat, and the whole chat's deleted. All of his everything from that side was deleted, gone. You couldn't find it. I could not find any. The whole way up, nothing was there. Click on his profile gone.
Yeah.
Then a few weeks later, comes back online again, brings it back.
Okay. What, in its entirety?
No.
That's weird.
No. He would be able to come as a new person, new profile, able to start again.
And you think you went to Facebook Camp? Hey, will you break that Facebook law there?
Yeah.
No,
like Facebook sin bin.
Yeah, or you get those rehab programs in Korea and all that for folks.
I don't know, but it was weird.
Yeah, those places. Yes, it's those places at Mars.
Those places are.
Yeah, I know. What was that? That was a Storyville documentary, and all these teenage Chinese kids, mostly from Hong Kong, they were sent off to like a 3-month boot camp, and it literally was fatigues, up at 6, cold shower, around the head, gymnasium for the first 3 hours to get them off their internet addiction.
Analog.
But one thing they all had in common was the fact that they were all single children because of a generation ago there was a single child policy. So they're completely insular in a flat on the 15th floor of a Chinese building, and they haven't got any mates, so they just hang out on the internet, and that's what happens.
Yeah, and have funny looking cats.
With funny looking cats, yeah.
So where it does chill me to the bone with this net neutrality thing, and I know I'm harping on a bit, but I wonder what it's going to do for activism. Because let's face it, what we do is a very online sort of thing. We're fucking hard at it. This isn't a 9 to 5. This is a 5 to 9 situation. And I wonder if it's going to kick us hard, because where does it put activism? What happens to not just our cause, but other ones, like situations in Syria when shit went down and things like that.
I think that's what they're
what's going to happen?
That's what they're trying to do, is to be able to control whole conversations, and hey, it's happening all over the world.
But people will come with other ways.
But in the land of the free, in the home of the brave, it's going to happen in the land of the free, because actually loads of them there still think that they're free. It's really free. Apart from all being 30 years in debt.
The greatest con ever.
The greatest con in the land of the free. Anyway.
So, Jules, some good news. You were saying we've now got the podcast on audio on SoundCloud.
What we're going to do is
after
this podcast now, did you know that?
I
saw the link and didn't open it.
No, I read
it. So, yeah, I've ripped all of the audio and I've put it on a SoundCloud, on the Dagga Couple SoundCloud, and after this show tonight, I will do the same, and the link tomorrow morning will be live on SoundCloud, Dagga Couple, and you've got a compendium of the first series of the HotBox podcast, number 1 to 14.
Nice.
They're all roughly an hour long, and so now you can sit in your car in traffic and smoke your favourite vape pen at the Broken Robot and not give a shit. So you can listen to the HotBox. Remember, like.
And if we can help you keep an inch
It's a
saner
private
in
link, you
traffic
won't
or
see.
in life, I hope it does. But it's been a great first season, hey? So is that it for the year?
I think this is this one's the last one for this year. I haven't got the strength next week.
Christmas on Monday.
We got a house full. Let's take a break. Come back second week of Jan or something. I don't know yet.
Somewhere
And
around
then have a plan for the next lot. But you will see the 2 green chairs in action again. And we've got some big things happening next year. There's lots of interest on the outside to the HotBox podcast because at the moment we seem to be the only people doing it, and we hope that you tell all your mates that we're doing it, because if you want some serious cannabis culture, this is where it's at.
Dudes, we're keeping it lang dang for you, hey?
Lang dang.
So please like, subscribe, and really.
Are we
make
leaving?
an effort.
No, we're not leaving. Are we?
No, it's like countdown. It's time for a last rip and a bit of
What
last
else is on your
shit.
list?
No, we spoke about the PE bust. You're touching
Yes,
on
it's
that.
that
We
guy in
reached
PE.
out.
I hope he gets hold of us, because we know that we can sort it out a little bit. Neisner was the one today. That's I remember now. But we've got a state of prosecution in Neisner. That's okay. If you were all watching the terpene podcast maybe 3-4 weeks ago, we added a blob of some sort of mood-enhancing terpene into this, and this is now 3-4 weeks later. This is tasty shit.
It's really
Tasty
good.
shit.
From Canna Health. Canna Health.
Yeah, man. And since it's been a bong-themed episode, guys, your favorite sort of bong? Double perk, simple, less is more. If you could smoke one bong for the rest of your fucking life.
No, that'll never happen because of the variety that comes.
Ruins the question, dude.
That'll
We've got to
never
do this in a
happen.
vacuum.
It's like, what's your favorite song? I can't give you it. I'll say, well...
Okay, top 3. That's the most.
There's another thing I would like to
What's it
touch
gonna
on.
have?
Another thing we'll touch on just before we leave for the year is just a quick update with the courts and the situation in the court. We all went to the Constitutional Court last couple of months ago to join Jeremy and Garrett's case. You saw that podcast. And the Dagga couple were there as friends of the court, as applicants. We expected maybe we would get a decision in part this week from the judges, the bench. We haven't. There won't be one until probably February, March next year is what we think. And there's 2 things that can happen. They can cut to the chase and say, we have enough information now to tell the government to legalise this in whatever forms it will take. Or they're going to say, we're going to reserve judgment until you finish the trial of the plant. So obviously Myrtle and I think that it would be great never to have to raise another £1 million to do another trial of the plant. But stand by to help, okay? Because we might need that £1 million to do another trial of the plant towards the second half of next year. 2 things that can happen. They're all going to happen in February, March. 1, we won. 2, we're going to win a bit later. Watch the Hot podcast, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah, season 2. Extra dang.
Season 2. Extra dang.
Extra dang.
Sure, that terpene stuff is bloody tasty.
Delicious, eh?
Isn't it delicious? I must whack some in there.
It really does help the average. Remember, this was some stuff that we had.
Let's
Was
check
average
it out.
being. It
So
becomes
now it's
more
got-
waxy because it's solvent. You put it in now, it becomes
Yeah,
more
it's
waxy.
well, it's great
Is it
because
because
it
it-
really constitutes it nicely. Jesus, my face is numb.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. So yeah, I did fucking 7 hours of ripping, put new thumbnails on everything. It's all been formatted as for a
Great.
SoundCloud. I put descriptions. I put every link. Sure.
Great.
And so now I rip this one now, and the link will go live tomorrow, and that's my content for tomorrow for Christmas.
That's cool.
That's the whole idea.
I love it. I mean, I've just got into podcasts a whole lot more.
Yes, I love it. Mate.
And I love them.
Yeah.
I can drive. I can do everything. I can just put a
Have you
podcast
got
into.
have you got Player FM on? Player FM is my portal, yeah.
Are you using PlayFM? I use Castbox.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really good. It's so much information that you can pull off of that sort of stuff. It's
And you know what? It's like having
the radio.
being in good company.
It's like having the radio whenever you want to.
When you're in the workshop, when I'm in my workshop, when I'm doing building whatever, and I'm just fucking
Yeah,
around.
me too.
I literally put
Doing
that on.
extractions.
Put that on, and you can just yeah.
And we off.